Yes, good afternoon. Welcome to Roajon Park in Rennes this Sunday afternoon at the end of October. The first of 3 games in Ligue 1 today between Stade Rennais and Reims here in Brittany this afternoon. And of course, the very big one to come later as the league leaders Paris Saint-Germain, Hatem Ben Arfa's former club, travel to play Marseille in the classic Can PSG, make it 11 consecutive wins at the start of the season. They've already established a French record, of course, this weekend, in which we've already seen Lille beat Caen 1-0 last night, Montpellier 3-0 winners at Toulouse, Lyon and Nantes winning on their travels. And meanwhile, Monaco under Thierry Henry, his first home game in charge, ending in a 2-2 draw against Dijon. This is how the table looks coming into this afternoon's games. Rennes in 10th position as it stands. They can climb provisionally at least a couple of spots above Toulouse and Bordeaux, who are in action later. Reims at the minute in 16th place, just a point above Amiens in the relegation playoff position, but the chance for them to rocket up the standings if they can win this game today. Well, as you might expect, a lot of attention here in Rennes is on Hatem Ben Arfa, who signed for the Brittany club at the beginning of last month and is still finding his feet to some extent, but he was excellent at times in last weekend's draw away in Saint-Etienne. Not deemed fit enough to start on Thursday when Rennes were beaten here by Dynamo Kiev in the Europa League, a damaging defeat for them in that game. Ismail Assar, the man to look out for as ever, the Senegalese international, one of the most exciting young talents in the French game. Look out for him today in this Rennes starting lineup as they aim to bounce back from that defeat against the Ukrainian giants. Benjamin Bourigeaud is a man to watch as well. He and Hatem Ben Arfa restored to the Rennes starting lineup today, having begun the game against Dynamo Kiev on the bench. Rennes have endured an inconsistent start to the season, just 1 win in 7 games in all competitions. They have nevertheless just taken 4 points from back-to-back away league games at Monaco and then Saint-Etienne. Sabri Lamouchi, the coach, making 2 changes following that late defeat at the hands of Dynamo Kiev here on Thursday. Abdoulaye Diallo, the Senegalese international goalkeeper, keeps his place in goal. The defence is as you were. Clément Grenier and the skipper Benjamin André protecting them deep in midfield as well. Benjamin Bourigeaud and Hatem Ben Arfa restored to the starting lineup. Ismail Assar will lead the attack today because Mbaye Niang drops to the bench, having not really found his form yet in a Rennes shirt. Jakob Johansson is the other player to make way in the Rennes starting lineup today. Reims, the visitors here this afternoon, a team who have a very strong defensive record this season, but really struggling to put the ball in the back of the net at the other end. One of the main contributors to their strong defence is the Belgian Björn Engels, one of a number of summer signings made by the club from Champagne country after they romped to the second-tier title last season. And under David Guillon, still finding their feet back in Ligue 1. It's not always been easy for them. They drew 1-1 at home against Angers last weekend, extending their run of games without a win to 8 matches. Marvin Martin is a familiar face certainly if you were a big fan of French football about 6 years ago. Terrific player for Sochaux, and his career somewhat stalled after he joined Lille. And he captains the away team today. 8 games without a win. They have nevertheless drawn 5 of their last 6. The exception being a 4-1 defeat away at the hands of Paris Saint-Germain, and that is no disgrace in the current climate. David Guillon making 2 changes to the Reims team following the 1-1 draw at home against Angers last weekend. Edouard Mendy starts in goal, and that back line unchanged. Two Belgians in there, Thomas Fouquet and Björn Engels, along with Younis Abdelhamid and Ghislain Conan, Alexis Romao and Xavier Chavalerin anchoring the midfield. There is a return to the lineup for Marvin Martin, who captains the side today. Remy Houdin and Moussa Doumbia on the flanks, and Pablo Chavarria, the Argentine, up front. The other player coming into the starting lineup today is Xavier Chavalerin, along with Martin. Ali Ndom and Suk Hyun Jun are the two players to make way. So there we have it then. Kickoff is about 5 minutes away here in Brittany. It's a nice day. Temperatures beginning to drop around France, but the sun is shining here over the Rouajon Park, which was packed to the rafters for Thursday's game against Dynamo Kiev. Not a full house this afternoon, but the Rennes fans who are here hoping to see their team get a victory. There haven't been too many of them this season. And Reims, meanwhile, looking to get back to winning ways. Long winless run for the men from Champagne country. David Guillon, the Reims coach. A team who came up in style from the second tier last season, finding the step up to be a little more difficult here in the top flight. Their opponents, Rennes, were excellent last season as they qualified for Europe, back in the Europa League for the first time in 7 years, but they're struggling, and it's going to be difficult for them to reach the knockout stages in that competition. And here we are, less than 72 hours on from that damaging defeat against Dynamo Kiev, looking to bounce back. A small band of Reims supporters have made the trip to the west of the country for this game today. Rennes back at home in the league after successive away games. Sabri Lamouchi, the coach, making two changes to the side that lost to Dynamo Kiev on Thursday. Jakob Johansson and Mbaye Niang are the men who drop out. Benjamin Bourigeaud is recalled, along with Hatem Ben Arfa. Ismail Assar will lead the attack today, with Roman Del Castillo playing on the left in what we expect to be a 4-2-3-1 formation. There is Hatem Ben Arfa. Didn't start on Thursday, but certainly did in the game against Saint-Etienne last weekend. Two captains, Benjamin André and Marvin Martin, with the referee for today's game. Benoit Milot is the man in the middle. 36-year-old from Paris region. And video assistant referees Alexandre Castro and Dominique Julien are watching from the truck, keeping an eye on the screens. VAR brought in Ligue 1 this season, in line with other leading European leagues like in Italy and Spain and in Germany. David Guillon in the background. Sabri Lamouchi with his back to us there. You say he's under pressure, but hasn't had the start to the season that he would have wanted at Rennes. Iran's coach David Guillon making two changes to the team that drew against Angers last weekend. Ali Ndom and Suk Hyun Jun are the players who drop out. Xavier Chavalerin, who scored in the 4-1 defeat away to Paris Saint-Germain last month, is restored to the lineup, along with Marvin Martin, the former France international, captains the side today, playing behind Pablo Chavarria, the Argentine forward, who scored in last weekend's draw at home against Angers.
tous ensemble pour soutenir l'arbitrage, les valeurs de respect et de l'esprit sportif.
Well, just about ready to get underway here. Rennes and Reims, this fixture allowing us to see how a number of former France internationals are getting on these days. Marvin Martin captaining the away side. Sabri Lamouchi's lineup, including Clément Grenier and Hatem Ben Arfa. David Guillon in charge of Reims. The team still adapting to life back in the top division after a couple of years in Ligue 2. Great to see them up again. Also a great club in the early post-war years in France. They've been more than 3 decades away before they first came back. And now here they are again in the top flight, looking to get back to winning ways today. It's Reims who get this game underway here in Brittany. 8 matches without a win for the men from Champagne country, and looking to take advantage of some possible fatigue in the Rennes legs. Sabri Lamouchi's side on the rebound from a painful 2-1 defeat here against Dynamo Kiev in the Europa League on Thursday, when against the sides who finished the game with 10 men, they conceded a late goal to slump to a defeat which compromises their chances of making it through to the knockout rounds in that competition. Last couple of league games have been much more satisfying though for Sabri Lamouchi. A win away in Monaco, and then a draw in Saint-Etienne last weekend. Offside flag coming up, not much doubt about that decision against Roman Del Castillo. By Damien da Silva. Last 5 meetings of these teams here. Rennes have won 3 of them. Just 1 win for Reims in that time. This meeting coming in April 2016. 3-1 victory for Rennes on that occasion. Roland Courbis was the man on the Rennes bench, and scoring a double that day, Ousmane Dembélé. What has changed for him in the intervening period? Dembélé involved with Barcelona these days, of course, and they play Real Madrid in the Clásico in Spain this afternoon. Rennes fans will have been very sad to see him leave so soon after he broke through into the first team. Dembélé, part of the France squad, won the World Cup in Russia in July. Here's Clément Grenier on the ball, classified as a former France international these days. Hatem Ben Arfa as well. And inside to Damien da Silva, Rami Ben Sebaini, forward from left back. Picked up again by the captain, Benjamin Andre. Nice footwork from Andre. Cross coming in from the left-hand side, looking for Sarr in the middle. Del Castillo once again. Turned away by Björn Engels. Chavarria giving chase up against da Silva. Chavarria getting the break of the ball here, and Abdoulaye Diallo coming racing out of his penalty box. Well, he made the decision, he had to play the ball, and he did, in fairness to Diallo, who is under the spotlight after being at fault for the winning goal for Dynamo Kiev on Thursday. He's kept his place in the Rennes side this afternoon, having been given the chance ahead of Tomáš Koubek. And certainly made Pablo Chavarria feel the pain of that challenge. Under by Benjamin Andre. Reims keeping the pressure on here. Cross coming in, turned away by Da Silva. Top effort was from Romao. The effort over the bar from the edge of the box. Xavier Chavalarin. Some early promise for the away side. Xavier Chavalarin, who gave Reims the lead inside 2 minutes when they went to the Parc des Princes a month ago. Ended up losing 4-1. That match, a bit of an anomaly really, because other than that they've not been conceding a lot of goals. They have been difficult to beat, they just haven't been scoring goals. They had 4 goalless draws in 5 before a 1-1 draw at home against Angers last weekend. The worst attack in the French top flight this season. Lots of work to do in that regard for Reims. Just 5 goals scored. Sylvain Lamouchi's team. Haven't had the same problems putting the ball in the back of the net, even if beIN has not exactly really come alight yet since being picked up at the beginning of the campaign. There is the Reims coach. A draw today would be a very positive result indeed for Reims, but at some point they're going to have to start winning games again. They need to be wary of that man, Ismail Assar. Against his Abdelhamid. Brave supporter there, bathing his chest. It's not that warm, it's not that cold, but it's not exactly sunbathing conditions here. Gislan Konan. Also Doumbia up ahead of him. Doumbia giving it back to Konan. Low ball into the box, might come for the shot from 18 yards from Rémi Houdin. Well, a promising start to this game from the away team, just couldn't keep the effort down there. Wasn't offside, Konan. Keep an eye on Houdin arriving in the D, right on the edge of the penalty box, and sweeping it over the bar. And a couple of early warning signs there for Rennes. Difficult one to keep down. And unable to test Abdoulaye Diallo. Here's Moussa Doumbia. And out of space there, Doumbia. Konan. Romao. Lifted forward by Romao. Turned into a very good ball indeed that. Da Silva won the initial header, but it's come back to Martin. Doumbia now. Doumbia shot. And a comfortable save for Abdoulaye Diallo. But once again, it's Reims looking the more likely team in the early stages here. Damien Da Silva's initial header coming back to Chavarria, and in the end, Doumbia with the effort. Certainly a player to watch out for, Moussa Doumbia. One of the summer signings made by Reims ahead of their return to the top division. was he who got the winning goal away at Nice on the opening weekend of the campaign, condemning Patrick Vieira to a loss in his first game in charge down on the Côte d'Azur. Sabini lifting it forward, looking for Ismail Assar. Doing what he does very well. The young Senegal international, and winning a corner for Rennes, some early respite for them. Ben Sabini's forward here, the Algerian defender, Clement Rennais, set-piece expert in this Rennes team. It's ball in, looking for Andre. Header away from Engels. And it will run through to Edouard Mendy. Mendy sending it long downfield. He's looking to spring forward quickly. Jeremy Gela playing with Damien da Silva in the heart of the Rennes defence today. Goalless if you're just joining us here, the first of the afternoon's action in the French top flight. Bordeaux playing Nice later, and then the weekend's action rounded off with the Classique at the Velodrome, a crowd of 65,000 in the stadium, millions in France around the world as well, from Marseille's meeting with Paris Saint-Germain. Rami Ben Sabini caught. Clash with Bjorn Engels. Ben Sabini, who committed the foul though. Saw one for both players. Abdelhamid. Engels going long, looking for Chavarria. Chavarria's attempted cross aimed at Moussa Doumbia. It's turned away by the Rennes defence once again. Pablo Chavarria, recently marking a decade since he broke through into the first team with his first club, his local club, Belgrano of Cordoba in Argentina. And a number of South Americans who've come to France and made a good career for themselves here and settling long term. I think of something like Emiliano Sala as well at Nantes. Doumbia offside. Was Moussa Doumbia ahead of the last defender? Yes, he just stepped ahead of the last man. The offside call, the right decision. Grenier. Ben Arfa dropping deep. Great to see Hatem Ben Arfa back on the fields. French football once again. Sabini to Thomas Fouquet, wins it back very well. Andre. Jeremy Gelin. Marie Traoré. Looking for Benjamin Bourigeaud. And Doumbia comes away with the ball. Here's Marvin Martin now. Nice ball aimed at Chavarria. Doumbia laying it back for Conan. Reims happy to keep the ball at the moment. Don't want to be chasing the game here today. That's what they had to do last weekend against Angers. They came away with a point in that game, but in general, not what you want to do when you're really struggling to put the ball in the net. Just 5 goals all season for Reims, just 2 in their last 7 matches. Something needs to change in that regard. A team who were irresistible in the second division last season. Benjamin Andre, Rennais, here's Ben Arfa trying to skip away from Romao. Ben Arfa. Rennais alongside him. Here's Amari Traoré. Bourigeaud playing on the right flank for Rennais. Played high upfield in the direction of Ismail Assar. Reims come away with the ball. Moussa Doumbia with space to run into because Traoré was slow getting back here. Moussa Doumbia does well to get the ball into the middle. Laid back in the direction of Chaval with Oudin, whose effort high into the top corner. It's a brilliant opening goal for Reims, and in many ways really it's been coming. They've threatened on a few occasions in the early stages. A beautifully constructed goal, and a very rare one indeed. Just twice they've found the net in their previous 7 games coming into this one today. The weakest attack in the top flight, but you wouldn't know it from the way they built that goal. Martin and Chaval involved, and Rémi Oudin coming in from the right-hand side. What a beautiful finish this is, but deflected on its way through as well to beat Abdoulaye Diallo. Just the start that David Guillon wanted for his Reims team. Rennes may have had more of the ball in the early stages, but Reims with more of the chances. None of them particularly looking like beating Abdoulaye Diallo, but they certainly got the break. And the shot from Rémi Oudin, take nothing away from the way the goal was constructed. Certainly makes things interesting. Rennes having to come from behind here. Haven't really looked like doing anything in the early stages. Worrying start to this game. Damien da Silva. Bourigeaud. And the 1-2 with Andre. High hanging cross, Edouard Mendy coming for it and couldn't hold on to it. Luckily for him, his defender's able to clear the danger. Back with Gelin. Da Silva. Rennais always keen to get on the ball. Ben Sebaini coming up from left back is an option for Ben Arfa, who tries to slide it in for Ismail Assar, and it runs through to Edouard Mendy. See the previous ball in from Bourigeaud, an awkward one for Mendy, only had eyes on the ball with Ismail Assar lurking behind him. Rennais for Bourigeaud. He's come in field quite a lot in the early stages. Bourigeaud, Ben Arfa peeling out to the right flank there. Acrobatically cleared and only as far as Marvin Martin. Romao. Build-up play from Reims again. Ball nearly finding Pablo Chavarria. A subdued atmosphere here inside the Rouajon Park today. And the early goal for Reims not helping in that regard. Ben Sebaini, the Algerian international. Oh, the cries of anguish. Ben Sebaini caught on the hand. Let's win it back here. To Silva. It may have been studs catching him on the wrist there, Rami Ben Sebaini. Moving the ball about across the defence, in towards Grenier, comfortably enough, but no penetration at the moment. That goal timed on 16 minutes from Rémi Oudin, his first goal of the season. Not only that, Rémi Oudin's first goal ever in the top flight of French football. Big moment for the 21-year-old. That's with some defending to do now. Bourigeaud bursting into the box, much better from Bourigeaud and from Rennes. They've got themselves another corner kick here. Changing passes with Romain Del Castillo. Benjamin Bourigeaud to deliver the low ball across the face of goal, having to settle for the corner. Here's Ben Arfa. That was Bourigeaud again. Ben Arfa once more, plenty of red shirts in the middle waiting for the cross. It is claimed by Edouard Mendy. Damien da Silva coming forward for nothing in the end. Marvin Martin. Nice idea. But, too far in front of Rémi Oudin in the end. He's not going to forget today in a hurry, is he? First goal in the top flight of French football for Rémi Oudin. A young man born in Champagne country and brought through the ranks by Reims. Del Castillo. Decent ball towards the far post, just a bit too long for Bourigeaud. Might be able to keep it in play, does. Traoré's cross. Back with Benjamin being urged to shoot. Gives it to Ismail Assar. And the Reims defence standing firm, and this is the problem for Rennes, having conceded that early goal. They now have to break down the Reims defence, and if they've been struggling to score goals, Reims, they've looked very sound at the back for much of the campaign, with the exception of that trip to the Parc des Princes. Benjamin knew it was a bit too ambitious to go for goal himself. Reims winning it back well, but picked up by Del Castillo. Gelin, France under-21 defender, playing midfield as well. Ben Arfa, that's a nice ball towards Ismail Assar. Oh, and the challenge coming in from Björn Engels, appeals for a penalty. What's the referee given here? It's going to be a yellow card for diving for Ismail Assar. Now, justice is sure to be done, with the video assistant referee able to look at this decision by the man in the middle. The Rennes fans and players certainly not happy. Great ball by Ben Arfa in the direction of Sarr. Björn Engels sliding in and playing the ball cleanly. And Ismail Assar did go down somewhat dramatically with his hands up, and the referee didn't like that at all. See this from another angle. Terrific tackle from the Belgian. And full credit to the referee, Monsieur Milo, for getting that one spot on. Sabri Lamouchi yet to get a break today. Rennes determined to get back to winning ways. At home, haven't won here since that 2-1 victory against Jablonec in the Europa League. And Ben Arfa scored a late penalty. That was a third win on the bounce at home in all competitions this season. Since then, 3 games without a victory. PSG won here, Toulouse got a point here at the end of September. And the defeat to Dynamo Kiev on Thursday, which left Rennes with 3 points from 3 games in their Europa League group, with a lot of work to do if they are to make it to the knockout rounds. Rennais to deliver the free kick here. Scored a free kick against Dynamo Kiev on Thursday. Not one of the best he's scored in his career, but they all count. Rennais' ball in straight through to Edouard Mendy. And Ismail Assar, I have to say that while the referee was absolutely spot on in not giving the penalty, maybe a little harsh to book Sarr, because understandable that Sarr would go down to the ground with the momentum of the challenge. Maybe he felt he was fouled. Maybe the booking a little bit harsh, but certainly credit to Engels for the challenge. Rougeau forward, looking for Ben Arfa or Sarr. Until Hamid doing well. Moussa Doumbia, flick from him, back the way for Gislan Konan. Up towards Pablo Chavarria, ploughing a lone furrow up front for Reims today. Good defending from De Silva. Gislan with a lovely ball towards Ben Sebaini, but Ben Sebaini wasn't quite ready for it. Gislan made his France under-21 debut last month, native of Brittany. France under-21 coach is a Breton, Sylvain Ripoll, previously in charge of Lorient when they were in the top division. Bourigeaud trying to release Ben Arfa, popping up all over the place in the first half. Hatem Ben Arfa yet to really create anything of note, and that will be a goal kick. Thomas Pocket, the defender. Ben Arfa certainly had a big influence on last weekend's game away in Saint-Etienne. Scored the winning goal when Rennes won away at Monaco the previous weekend, but still a lot of improvement needed from Sabri Lamouchi's team. Olivier Letton The club president trying to oversee a bit of a revolution at a club who have been notorious underperformers on the French football scene for such a long time. Conan. Doumbia had come inside, skipping away from the challenge of Traoré. Conan's attempted cross blocked by Bourigeaud. Chavalerin does well to get the cross in. It comes all the way over to Fouquet, the Belgian, on the far side. Marvin Martin. So a nice idea. It will run out for a goal kick. Someone Fouquet along with Björn Engels, making it 50% Belgian back line for Reims today. Two players have been on the fringes of the Belgian national team too. They're no mugs, Engels and Fouquet. Here's Bourigeaud. Come on, Rennais across to the far side for Del Castillo. Challenge. Down from Del Castillo, but the Rennes player has it back again. Rennais. Free kick given. Gone past the half-hour mark here. It's been flat stuff from Rennes thus far. Flat atmosphere inside Reims Park today. It's linked to protests that have been commonplace in French stadiums in the last couple of weeks from the ultras in grounds that usually lead the singing, provide a lot of noise and colour. It's an issue for another day, but certainly not helping in terms of matchday atmosphere at the moment. These protests, and in fairness, the Rennes supporters haven't got much to shout about this afternoon, thus far anyway. It's Ben Arfa spreads the play across to Damien Da Silva. Ben Sebaini again. Reims leading by a goal to nil. Remy Oudin with the goal that separates the teams. Ben Arfa tries something fancy in midfield. Towards Del Castillo. Good defending again from the away side. Now with Moussa Doumbia, who was playing in Russia before joining Reims. And he's won the free kick. Caught by Benjamin Bourigeaud. Conan. Away by Gelin. Andre. Bourigeaud with a terrific ball across the Ben Sebaini on the far side. Alpha again. Challenged by Oudin, back with Ben Sebaini. Tom by Del Castillo, poor ball in though. It's pretty comfortable for Reims at the moment, so well organised. And despite the presence of the likes of Rennais and Ben Arfa on the field, Rennes just lacking that spark just now. Maybe Amari Traoré can provide it. Traoré will get another go here. Does manage to dig out the cross this time, but it's cleared by Abdelhamid. Del Castillo with the acrobatic overhead attempt, but the ball had already gone behind for a goal kick. Del Castillo joining Rennes in the summer, former Lyon player who was on loan at Nîmes last season, helped them to win promotion to the top flight behind Reims. And now the atmosphere does pick up, the protest is over. Essentially, these ultra supporters groups protesting against the treatment of fans by the authorities in France. It's a complex issue. Reims have it back again here. Marvin Martin with the attempt, which was saved in the end, but the flag had come up. And yes, it did come off Xavier Chavalard. For Marvin Martin. To Abdoulaye Diallo for making the save. Bourigeaud. Romao. It's away by Conan, but only as far as Grenier. And that's just standing firm at the back. Alexis Romao marshalling the midfield, and Sabri Lamouchi's team not looking like getting an equalising goal just now. They do need a bit of Ben Arfa magic. It was a terrific goal that he scored in that game at Monaco just before the recent international break, and then he lit up the match against Saint-Etienne last weekend, nearly scored a superb solo goal, and then won a penalty in the second half. Unfortunately for him and his team, he squandered it by putting it wide, hitting the outside of the post on its way past. And Rennes having to settle for a point in that game. They've got themselves another corner here. Turned behind by Abdelhamid. Ben Arfa to deliver this. Down in front of the small band of travelling supporters. Rennes have had all the corners today, yet to do anything with them. Grenier. Andre. Pressed by Romao, getting it back to Gelin now with Damien da Silva. Finding Andre, is that a free kick? Yes, it is. Caught by Fouquet. Well, Rennes really could do with some kind of a lift before half-time, even if it's just making Edouard Mendy properly work here. He's not had too much of note to do in the first half, the Reims goalkeeper. Clement Grenier. Wide on the left-hand side, going for goal and smashing it into the wall. another Rennes corner. Andre and beIN in the middle along with Gelin. De Silva and Sarr in the 6-yard box. Rennais' ball in. Came off the head of Abdelhamid, and Benjamin Andre, in attempting the spectacular overhead, concedes the free kick in the process. Brave defending anyway from Bjorn Engels to get his head to that ball. Really cleaned out by the boot of the Rennes captain. Put that for a header back downfield by Gelin, releasing Ismail Assar. Bjorn Engels coming across to meet him and standing up to the Senegalese international very well indeed. Ben Arfa will take this one. Bit of pressure at the end of the first half from the home team. Ben Arfa's ball in's a much better one as well. Clement Grenier losing out to Martin. Maybe Reims can break here. Moussa Doumbia all on his own. It's not dealt with by Traoré. And luckily for Amari Traoré, his compatriot Moussa Doumbia squandered that ball. It's not been glorious the first 40 minutes from Rennes here, trailing to that Remy Houdin strike, and Reims showcasing their defensive solidity. David Guillon was fairly effusive in his praise of his team last weekend for the way that they performed. He was certainly seeing things from the glass half full point of view. Even if Reims are not winning games, they're not losing games. And they're certainly standing firm at the moment here. Edouard Mendy having to get down low to that ball in front of Del Castillo. Reims again clearing their lines. It's not a big storm blowing their way, but they are weathering it nonetheless at the moment. The Reims back line, Andre from beIN, whose touch lets him down badly. This is the ball in. Ismail Assar peeling out to the flank. It's an awkward one for Edouard Mendy, and rescued by Fouquet in the end there. For Chavarria to chase. Who got the last touch? It will be a goal kick. Pablo Chavarria is the leading scorer for Reims this season, but he scored just 2 goals. A thankless task at times, leading the line on his own. Grenier turning away superbly under pressure right on the edge of his own box. Ben Arfa giving it to Andre. Andre's ball for Sarr, easily cut out by Abdelhamid. Just 2 attempts on target in this game, and they've both come for the away side. It's been a very poor performance from Rennes thus far. I have to say they've had plenty of possession, but they've lacked penetration, they've lacked any real rhythm. And they've not really looked like breaking down this Reims defence. Sarr wanted to give that ball to Clement Grenier, but the midfielder was fouled on the edge of the box, and Rennes have themselves another free kick here in a dangerous position. I think Ben Arfa maybe fancies taking this one. Might it be too close to goal for Clement Grenier? Just keep an eye on Grenier. Gives that ball to Sarr, and then he's held back there by Marvin Martin. Careless foul given away by the Reims captain. Be a real kick in the teeth for the visitors if they concede the equaliser in the final minute of the first half here. Marvin Martin, the guilty party, and Ben Arfa with the opportunity from the dead ball. Missed that penalty last weekend in Saint-Etienne, scored the winner in the previous Ligue 1 outing at Monaco. What can Ben Arfa do here? And the free kick is well saved by Edouard Mendy. Finally, it's an attempt on target from Rennes. And the free kick now conceded as we head towards 1 minute of added time. Fine strike by Ben Arfa, up and over the wall. Mendy alert to it. Diallo under pressure there from Chavalin. Reims just fancying maybe grabbing a second goal before the interval. That would really upset the home team. Just when Rennes have finally looking the more likely team right at the end of this opening 45 minutes. The time has come and gone. It's been a flat performance thus far from Rennes. There are jeers from around Rouajon Park. They trail by a goal to nil against Reims. Rémi Houdin's first Ligue 1 goal separating the teams, and Sabri Lamouchi's Rennes side need to do much better after the break here. Otherwise, it will be a first win in 9 for last season's second-tier champions. Let's get some reaction from Rémi Houdin down at the side of the pitch.
Premier but en Ligue 1, bravo Rémi, c'est un vrai beau but et pour l'instant il est important. Vous êtes devant et vous semblez bien maîtriser ce match.
And you look to be in control.
Après c'est pas finalité, on a fait une bonne entame, une bonne première mi-temps. Il faut qu'on fasse comme ça en deuxième mi-temps et ça sera bon.
Merci beaucoup, je vous laisse aller souffler.
Through the second half, and that would be very nice indeed.
Benjamin Bourigeaud qui nous fait la gentillesse de s'arrêter, c'est compliqué cette première période, Benjamin. Premier tir cadré à la 45e sur le coup franc d'Athènes.
Ouais, c'est vrai qu'on a du mal à mettre notre jeu en place.
Yeah, it's true that we're struggling
voilà,
to
ils sont bien en place, ils arrivent à mettre des ballons derrière notre défense, donc ça nous fait reculer.
Get our game going today. They're well organised at the back.
Avec le ballon parce qu'on a très peu d'occasions et les seules occasions qu'on va avoir, il va falloir les mettre au fond.
The chances we won't get many. Once we do get, we need to put away. Says Benjamin Bourigeaud, who heads off to the home dressing room here at the Rouajon Park, with Rennes a goal down at the interval, despite having nearly 2/3 of the possession. Reims happy to rely on their solid defence and try to spring forward occasionally on the break after getting in front. But the reality is that Reims have had more attempts on goal. 5 for the away team, 2 of which have been on target. Just 3 attempts for Rennes, the only one on target, that Hatem Ben Arfa free kick right on half-time. And the only booking, Ismail Assar's caution for diving. Rather summing things up for Rennes in this first half. Sabri Lamouchi preferring Sarr through the middle to the off-form Mbaye. And it's not brought about the results yet here for the home team in Brittany today. Take a look at the best of the first half action. Reims threatening in the early stages Down to Xavier Chavalerin, whose shot was high and wide, but a sign of Reims' intent in the early stages. Marvin Martin then teeing up Moussa Doumbia for the shot from the edge of the box that was comfortably saved by Abdoulaye Diallo. The goal was coming. Doumbia to Marvin Martin, back to Chavalerin, and then a fine finish from Rémi Houdin with the aid of a deflection on its way through to beat Diallo in goal. His first ever goal in the top flight, and a rare one for Reims, who've been struggling to find the net this season since winning promotion. Deflection off the neck of Ben Sebaini. There's been much to shout about for Rennes at the other end. Mendy with a slight scare there from the low ball in. Tamar Fouquet helping him out in front of Romain Del Castillo. Then it was into the 45th minute. Martin Ben Arfa's free kick after the foul on Rennais by Martin. But a good save from Edouard Mendy to ensure that Reims go in with the lead at half-time here.
Allez, chers supporters, n'oubliez pas pour les dates avec l'événement mercredi 31 octobre, mercredi prochain, la séance des dédicaces des Rouges et Noirs qui ont lieu au Conforama de Rennes-Alma, Conforama de Rennes-Alma, avec la possibilité pour vous de 17h à 18h de faire dédicacer votre maillot, votre ballon, de vous faire prendre en photo avec les gens qui seront présents au magasin Conforama de Rennes-Alma. Rendez-vous mercredi à partir de 17h pour la séance de dédicaces. Allez, c'est parti, le jeu ballon, chers supporters, c'est le jeu du tir ballon. Nous avons Hugo qui nous vient de passer. Alors Hugo, c'est très simple, il faut mettre le ballon dans le pot de yaourt ballon pour gagner ton poids en yaourt ballon. Allez, c'est parti, Hugo, allez. Oh là là, Hugo, il y a un problème là.
Alors c'est le pot qu'il faut viser, c'est pas nous.
Allez, on continue. Hugo, oh là 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 là, un petit peu plus à gauche, Hugo. Allez, le prochain va être le bon. Ah ouais, malheureusement.
Allez, Mar, 3 tentatives. Si tu l'avais au milieu, tu repars avec tes cadeaux offerts par Malo. Allez, c'est pas mal celui-là. Allez, dernière tentative. Ouais, juste à côté.
Allez, autour de Steven qui nous vient du Calvaire. Steven, allez, un essai. Un peu plus à gauche. Ah, c'est pas trop mal. Et non plus. Troisième et dernier essai pour Steven. Et c'est perdu malheureusement.
Allez, c'est à Titon maintenant. 3 tentatives, Titon. Vas-y, pour l'instant, personne n'a réussi. Depuis qu'on a mis le jeu en place, depuis le début de la saison. Il va falloir qu'on s'y colle un jour avec Hermini. Alors attention, juste à côté.
Et bien c'est perdu, personne n'aurait gagné. On va vous donner des petits cadeaux quand même aux couleurs de notre partenaire Malo. Les yaourts Malo produits en Bretagne, bien sûr, les délicieux yaourts Malo.
Alors on va continuer maintenant avec le challenge. Les joueurs de U15 de Montauban en vert vont affronter en bleu les joueurs de vert. Le principe c'est très simple, celui qui marque le plus de buts que l'autre a gagné. Messieurs, mettez-vous en place. En vert, Montauban, en bleu, vert. On les a.
Allez, messieurs, en place.
Allez, je me mets avec les bleus. Alors voilà, ce sont des U15 qu'on a le plaisir de recevoir ici au Rennais Park.
Allez, Alexis, c'est parti.
En
C'est parti
vert,
pour Montauban.
Montauban, et en bleu, vert. Ton prénom? Ok.
Et le premier but pour Montauban.
Allez, vas-y, Ciel. Ouais, super.
Allez, deuxième essai. Montauban, peut-être pour un deuxième but. Et on s'est photo.
Allez, vas-y, Noah. Noah qui s'élance pour vert, le numéro 7.
Allez, Nora. Nora pour Montauban. Montauban, toujours un but pour Montauban. Et le deuxième but.
Allez, Enzo, le numéro 8. Le numéro 8 de Verne qui dribble une fois Hermine qui se présente face au gardien et c'est la radio.
Allez, c'est au tour de Gabin pour Montauban face au gardien.
C'est pas assez long, Hermine.
Et le troisième but. 3 buts pour Montauban.
Allez, Chou, le numéro 2 des Bleus. Allez, lâchez rien.
Voilà. Allez, Corentin.
Toujours 3 buts pour Montauban.
Peut-être le quatrième but.
Allez, Alexandre, face au COP qui s'élance le numéro 11. Le numéro 11 de Verne face à Hermine, face au gardien.
Ah ouais. Et Nolan pour Montauban. Devant le gardien.
Allez, Victor, le numéro 4, face à Hermine, la muraille. Il le passe. Ouais, à côté.
Evan pour Montauban.
Evan, et c'est dedans. Allez, Mathis. Allez, c'est le numéro 10. Le numéro 10. Voilà.
Maxime pour Montauban.
Allez, Evan. Evan face au gardien. Ouais.
Florian. Allez, Florian pour Montauban en vert. Oui, c'est rentré.
Allez, c'est Florian qui s'élance le numéro 6. Ouais, joli.
Enfin, Enzo pour terminer avec Montauban. Oh, c'est joli, Enzo.
Allez, Enzo. Allez, numéro 9, c'est le dernier. Le numéro 9 face au COP. Ouais.
Allez, le score pour Montauban, 6 buts. Et pour Verne, 8 buts. La victoire de Verne qui l'emporte. Bravo à Verne. Félicitations avec 8 buts. Ce sont les Bleus qui l'emportent 8 buts à 6. Merci de les applaudir. Et vous méritez un tour de verre.
Allez, 45 minutes, encouragez-nous, Génois.
Welcome back to Brittany at Roajon Park. The Rennes players coming out for the second half here with the Breton music playing out over the sound system. They trail by a goal to nil at half-time. Tomasz Kubek out warming up. Czech goalkeeper who's been dropped from the Rennes starting lineup in recent games. It's not been a happy afternoon thus far for Rennes. And their president, Olivier Letton, certainly will want a lot better from the team in the second half. Fans of Hatem Ben Arfa here in the ground today haven't had too much to shout about. He and his team, just that one attempt on goal on target anyway in the first half. The free kick in the final minute of the first half, saved well by Edouard Mendy in the Reims goal. Rennes are going to have to do better after the break. To give these supporters something to properly shout about. They were on strike for much of the first half as part of a protest movement about the treatment of fans in and around French stadiums. But they removed their protest banners and began to make themselves heard late in the first half. And the cop there at that end of Rouajon Park here. Can Rennes come from behind in the second half? So we're just about ready to get going in the second half, and Rennes, of course, chasing this game. Better from Benjamin Bourigeaud. The big news is that Sabri Lamouchi is changing his goalkeeper. Abdoulaye Diallo not reappearing for the second half. Tomasz Kubek coming on, making his return. There were some doubts ahead of the game as to whether Diallo would be retained. He failed to convince against Dynamo Kiev in midweek. It's a return for Kubek today. Hasn't played in a league game since the 2-1 defeat at Amiens on the 26th of September. And Rennes get us underway in this second half. Will the introduction of Kubek in goal help turn the tide? Really, it's at the other end that they need to improve and find a way of unlocking what has been a very solid Reims defence thus far. Certainly nothing obviously wrong physically with Abdoulaye Diallo in the first half for Tomasz Kubek to be brought back in. And they've got themselves a throw. Good play from Ismail Assar on that far side. Rennes shooting towards their most boisterous supporters now in this second half as they try to turn this game around. This was the 5th game in a row in which Abdoulaye Diallo had started in goal between the league and the Europa League. Sixth game in a row, in fact, with two Europa League matches against Astana as well as Dynamo Kiev. Bourigeaud attempting the cutback. Who did that ball come off last? It came off Bourigeaud. Need to play with more urgency, with a quicker tempo in the second half. The ball did come off Bourigeaud last. It was Rami Ben-Sebaini with the ball through in the first place. Not exactly a happy day for Diallo against Reims, his hometown team. Wasn't at fault at the goal, and an interesting decision by Sabri Lamouchi to make the change. We'll find out if there was a real physical problem with Diallo. Abdelhamid forward, picked up by Traoré. Here is Gelan to Da Silva. Ismail Assar. Ben Arfa. Struggled to last the pace in Saint-Etienne last weekend. That might have contributed to him not starting against Dynamo Kiev. Looked off the pace today, Ben Arfa, but just hasn't really looked on his game. Foul by Da Silva on Chavarria. Header won by Ben-Sebaini. Bourigeaud playing on the left-hand side at the start of the second half here. Ben-Sebaini, good ball in field. Ben Arfa shot, and it's a good save again by Edouard Mendy, and that is much better from the home team. Much better. Ben-Sebaini getting forward. Ben Arfa with a bit of space just outside the penalty box, picking his spot low in the far corner. Comes another Rennes corner kick. They had plenty of them in the first half. Cleared away by Engels, who wins it again. He's played very well today, the Belgian. Rennes winning the ball back deep inside the away half here. Ben Arfa. Andre now. Oh, misunderstanding between Andre and Bourigeaud and Del Castillo alongside him. Ismail Assar. The turn away, looking for Benjamin Bourigeaud, who's in behind Engels. There's it back here, Del Castillo. Too many white shirts in the way. Traoré with the attempt, and it runs through to Mendy in goal. Imari Traoré, former Reims player, he was on the books in Champagne country for a couple of seasons before joining Rennes in 2017. Part of the Reims team that was relegated before they spent a couple of years back in the second tier and then made their return. Standing is that Diallo is injured. Certainly would have been a very strange decision just to replace Diallo like that, having gone with him at kickoff, and would do nothing for the confidence of a goalkeeper who's been on the books at Rennes for a long time without ever managing to establish himself as the first choice. He thought he was going to get the chance last season after Benoit Costil left the club for Bordeaux, and then they brought in Tomasz Kubek And he usurped Diallo as the number 1. Chavalarin across to Ghislain Conan on the far side. Doumbia. Marvin Martin's attempted ball in, blocked by Traoré. Will be a Reims corner when these Rennes fans given hope by the way their team have started the second half here today on a windy October afternoon at Rouajon Park. It's packed out on Thursday for that game against Dynamo Kiev, not this evening. Benoit Milo just in discussions with his video assistants, and because of this, cross from Martin blocked by Traoré. Now he will let the corner be taken. Oh, and it's headed in at the near post, and it's number 2 for Reims, and it's number 2 for Rémi Houdin, a player who had never scored a top-flight goal before today, and a Reims team who've been struggling desperately to put the ball in the back of the net. That is a real sucker punch for the home team after they'd started so brightly in this second period. Marvin Martin's ball in, and nodded home by Houdin. Thomas Koubek, the substitute goalkeeper on for Abdoulaye Diallo at half-time, has been beaten. And it's going to be a real uphill struggle now for Rennes. Benjamin Andre, the captain, may just have helped that ball on its way in. And 2-0, Reims lead here. Just at the point in which Rennes had been looking the more likely team. And Reims can break once again. Down that left-hand side, Chavarria waiting in the middle. It's a bit too unselfish there, Pablo Chavarria. Not the ideal start for Thomas Koubek since coming on. A cross looking for Chavarria. He's not going to keep that ball in. It's the first time this season. We're in week 11. First time in which Reims have scored more than once in a game. It certainly gives them a huge lift. A team who didn't exactly struggle to put the ball in the net last season as they romped to the Ligue 2 title with 74 goals in 38 league matches, and Rennes making their second change. Roman Del Castillo brought into the lineup, unable to make an impression. And beIN is the player who takes his place. Signed at the beginning of the campaign, brought back to French football from Torino. Houdin certainly made a connection with Martin corner, but the bigger touch came up Benjamin Andre. And maybe it will, in fact, go down as an Andre own goal, which would be disappointing for Rémi Houdin. He's already got one goal, of course, today. Comes the free kick, claimed by Quebec. That's what you call commanding goalkeeping. Neon is big and extremely powerful. French-born Senegalese international forward. Back in French football this season for the first time since he had a loan spell at Montpellier. Joining from Torino. But yet to really make an impression on his new club. Jeanlin's header, spectacular goalkeeping from Mendy. Rennais to take the corner this time. It's a good ball in, and it's turned over the bar from close range. Just nodded on at the near post. It was Jeanlin who helped it on its way initially, and that ball just struck with too much power, really, for Rennes to make anything of it in the 6-yard box. But Clément Grenier, of course, can be such a weapon from a dead ball. And Rennes need to utilise that as much as possible. They need to utilise the talents of Hatem Ben Arfa as much as possible. And by Niang through the middle. And Ismail Assar on the flank. After Del Castillo was taken off. A card brought out here for Rami Ben Sebaini. It will be yellow. It was a high boot. Catching Marvin Martin on the thigh in the end. He did nearly pull out of the challenge. Marvin Martin, a player who's not had his troubles to seek in recent times, doesn't want to have to come off. I'm sure he'll be okay to continue. Full speed, it looks like a fairly painful one. And Sebaini escaping with the yellow card. Perhaps another referee might have been less lenient. David Guillon considering making a change. Jean-Pierre Caillot, the Reims president, delighted to have his club back in the top flight. Marvin Martin back on his feet as well. Started the first 3 games of the season. Hasn't featured too much since then, Marvin Martin, who's still only 30. A brilliant start to his career. Marvin Martin is going to have to make way here. Tristan Dangomé will replace Martin, who won the last of his 15 caps for France back in 2012. I think back to Euro 2012 when Laurent Blanc was the France coach. Ben Arfa and Martin both came off the bench for France against England in that competition. It's a very long time ago now. And Martin making way for the final half hour here. As Rennes come forward, Ismail Assar on the right-hand side. Cam defending again from Björn Engels. Alexis Romao now has the captain's armband, a very experienced midfielder, of course, former Marseille player. And another to have been signed by Reims ahead of their return to the top flight. A big turnover of players ahead of this campaign. Ben Arfa's cross deflected. Number 1 again by Engels. Chavaria. Support outside him from Fouquet. Hasn't got forward too much today, the Belgian at right back. And now back to Fouquet. Doumbia, it's deflected behind. Off Amari Traoré. One Malian to another. The elbow of the Rennes defender, but it is just the corner. Third goal would certainly kill things off, you would think. David Guillon's team in a terrific position here. That corner headed away by Nyon, back helping out. Rennes have lost just one of their last 15 home games against Reims. That's going back a long, long way. That defeat came in December of 2014. But Rennes have won their last 4 games against promoted teams in the top flight as well. Looks like that particular sequence is about to come to an end. Bourigeaud. It's another corner. Damian da Silva coming forward, the wind still whipping around Rouajon Park today as Bourigeaud delivers this one. Da Silva at the back post. And Edouard Mendy claims it. Good defending again from Reims, very impressive the way that they have stood firm today. And who was it that turned that ball away? Who else but Björn Engels? Very interesting capture for Reims from the Greek giants Olympiakos, former Club Bruges player. One who had hoped at one point to find a club in England, but joining David Guillon's side instead. And David Guillon doing a very good job. It must be said, Reims had to make a lot of changes to their squad ahead of this campaign. They were up to the second-tier title last season with a record points tally, a record number of wins as well. When you look at the Reims players who were named in the second division team of the year, 4 of them, the only one who stayed put is Younis Abdelhamid, playing alongside Björn Engels in the heart of the defence today. They lost the Brazilian winger Diego Rigonato. He moved to the United Arab Emirates. Lost Julien Janvier as well. Quebec comes out. And a good intervention from the substitute goalkeeper. Another key player, of course, who left Reims in the summer, Jordan Sibachou, the American-born forward, who was sold to Rennes for big money, about 12 million euros they paid for him after he netted 17 goals in the second division last season for club from Champagne country. Sibachou currently on the sidelines for Rennes, and maybe they could do with him back in the side, even if he's had a bit of a slow start to the campaign. Chavaria, another key player for Reims last season, but they have made a lot of changes ahead of this campaign. Of this team starting the game today, brought in for this campaign. Confirmation now that that second Reims goal is being credited to Benjamin Andre as an own goal. Disappointment for Remy Houdin. At least he's got the opener. No doubt that that was his. Quebec again coming out of his penalty box to mop up Gelin. Cross to Damian da Silva. beIN, Niang, unselfishly laying it off. But Ben Arfa's shot was always rising from Hatem Ben Arfa. And jeers coming up around Rouajon Park if he was so impressive in flashes last weekend against Saint-Etienne. It's not happened for Ben Arfa today, not by any means. Not been a glorious afternoon for the trio of one-time France stars. Marvin Martin limping off. Clément Grenier struggling to make an impression on the game. Ben Arfa as well. Ben Arfa, like Marvin Martin, with 15 caps for his country, made a couple of appearances for the national team in late 2015. There was that brief renaissance in his career, of course, when he was brilliant for Nice. Moved to PSG didn't work out for him, just as Marvin Martin's big money move to Lille a few years ago never worked out the way he wanted it to. Marvin Martin is now the captain at Reims. Don't forget that when he joined Lille, it was as a big star. Joined them in 2012, a year on from their remarkable double triumph, and there was high hopes placed in him to be the successor to a certain Eden Hazard. He'd just been sold to Chelsea that summer. That's getting ready to make another change. We're midway through the second half in this game. And before Koubek takes the goal kick, substitution will be made. Won't change a piece, in fact, but it's... well, who's going to go first here? Ransar. Moussa Doumbia put in quite a shift this afternoon on the left flank for Reims. And his place is being taken by the youngster Mathieu Cafaro. And as we see Doumbia come off and Cafaro, the former Toulouse youngster, come on. Another change being made by Rennes. Hatem Ben Arfa heading off. One or two jeers from around the ground as Ben Arfa went off, and James Lea Siliki coming on in his place. Back to the drawing board maybe for Ben Arfa. Still time for Rennes if they can get one goal back. They can set up a grandstand finish, but free kick has been given. And it's gone the way of the away team into Cafaro, trying to block a cross from Benjamin Andre. Andre ending up having a swipe at Cafaro, who just nicked the ball away from the Rennes skipper. Well, one of Hatem Ben Arfa, another start for him in the league today, 5th on the bounce. Played a lesser role in European competitions, and he lit up that match at Saint-Etienne last weekend. If he got the winner at Monaco a couple of weeks before that, today has been very disappointing indeed. One or two appeals for a penalty that time. Fairly loud appeals from behind the goal. Niang ending up on the floor. beIN caught now by Remy Houdin. He's been a hero for Reims today, but it's a yellow card for the goal scorer. And tempers fraying here. clear foul from Rennais on beIN. This was the penalty appeal. Abdelhamid and Niang, 6 of one and half a dozen of the other, I think. Rennais to deliver the free kick. They need something, and they need it quickly, Rennes. Otherwise, it's going to be a very disappointing defeat for a team who've been stuck in mid-table. Rennais' ball in. Mendy got a hand to that, firm hand as well. Benjamin Andre back to Sarr, appeals for handball. Again, nothing given by the referee, and Raz can break now. Rennes need to be very careful here. They were helped out by lack of a touch from Pablo Chavarria, but jeers all around Rouajon Park. It seemed like a fairly blatant block by the arm. In fairness, the arm was pinned close to the body. It struck the arm from very close range. And nothing given. Bourigeaud. Rennes turning up the heat here, and Bourigeaud is penalised, and he's struggling to hold back his frustrations. He might get himself a card here. It is yellow for Benjamin Bourigeaud. Scrapping with Thomas Fouquet. He stopped to appeal for the free kick and then exacted revenge on the Belgian. That was the handball appeal just outside the penalty box, but it would have been a free kick in a very interesting position, and instead Reims survive, and one or two objects being thrown down from the stands in that corner. It's like paper and nothing more than that, but clear signs of frustration, anger even, in the stands here. Away by Da Silva. Grenier to release Ismail Assar. Skipped away from Conan but ran out of space. Ismail Assar, it's not been a good day for him. Got his third goal of the season in the draw at Saint-Etienne last weekend. But the decision to play him through the middle at kick-off didn't work out, and Rennes have been nowhere near their best today. Such high hopes in them at the beginning of the campaign after they qualified for Europe this season. They look to be on the way back up, and this is a club who, as we were saying earlier on, their underachievement down the years has been really quite remarkable. From a fairly large and affluent city in Brittany, club with wealthy owners behind them with so much potential. Of course, the Pinots are the men in charge. This is a club who have just never been able to deliver success to their fans. They've come close on several occasions in the last decade. Mendy claims the cross and wins a free kick as well. Bourigeaud didn't do too much wrong in that instance. He did crash into the Reims goalkeeper. And cannot be too many complaints about the free kick being given. He needs to be careful, actually, Bourigeaud having just been booked. Mendy slow to get back to his feet. Everyone involved with Rennes running out of patience, I think. Edouard Mendy is understandably not in a great hurry. Sabri Lamouchi just about to celebrate a year in charge of Rennes. was early November last year when he was appointed as the replacement to Christian Gourcuff on the bench here. Turned things around superbly in the second half of last season, but it has been a fairly slow start to this campaign. Just 1 win in 7 in all competitions before today. Bensebaini. That's poor from Bensebaini. A misunderstanding between him and Grenier, and Reims can break again. Pablo Chavarria. There's Dangome in support. Substitute getting the break of the ball off Andre. Rennes twice beaten finalists in the French Cup in the last decade, both times at the hands of their more modest Brittany neighbours Guingamp, and they lost to Saint-Etienne as well in the final of the Coupe de la Ligue 5 years ago. Never finished higher than 4th in the top flight. Twice winners of the French Cup. Last of those in 1971. Offside flag up that time against Rémi Houdin. The honours list at Rennes is in pretty stark contrast to that at Reims. 6-time champions of France in the early post-war era, of course. Reims twice runners-up in the European Cup in the very early days of that competition. Both times at the hands of Real Madrid. A great name, their famous red and white shirts, of course. They're in white today, and set for a first victory since week 2. They beat Nice away on the opening weekend. They beat Lyon at home immediately after that. 8 games without a win since then. No foul. Conan, that time the player caught by him by Niang. Dangome back to Björn Engels, who has been a class act at the back for Reims today. It's a good ball in from the left-hand side, header away by Da Silva. And boot catching Benjamin Andre from Dangome. Time for Reims to make their 3rd change of the afternoon with 10 minutes to go. And it's Rémi Houdin coming off, the man who got the opening goal, his first goal in the top flight. He thought he got the second goal. It looks like it's going to be credited as an own goal. This is the opener. It took a deflection as well off Rami Bensebaini. Rémi Houdin replaced by Alien Dom, who was one of the 2 players to drop out of the team today after starting against Angers in the 1-1 draw last weekend. Romao. And by Niang. Traoré's ball in. Goalkeeping again from Mendy, improvising with his feet that time. And a foul on Romao. So a day to forget for Rennes. James Lea Siliki, the substitute, the player penalised that time. Let's see this again from Edouard Mendy. He's had a good game today. The 26-year-old in goal for Reims. First choice in their promotion-winning campaign last season. And by Niang, he's got the break of the ball there, Niang. Briefly anyway, Lea Siliki. Traoré, his switch of play. Bourigeaud knocking it back down for Ben Sebaini. It's just meat and drink for the Reims defence, but it comes out to Lea Siliki. It's deflected by Abdelhamid, and Edouard Mendy unable to prevent that ball from running behind for a corner. And still we're at the point in the game where if Rennes can get one back, it would set up a nervy finale, at least for the away side. And there's the header, and there's a very good save again from Edouard Mendy. Seen that several times today. They keep the pressure on. And Rennes have been able to find a way past the Reims defence. They haven't been able to find a way past Mendy in goal. There's a long-range effort from Ben Sebaini, well over the bar. Benjamin André's header it was, and it was a really good stop again from Mendy. Set to keep another clean sheet today. Tanguy forward. Pablo Chavarria ploughing that lone furrow, and he's never stopped running today, the Argentine. André giving it to Ben Sebaini. Still coming forward, still heavily involved. No way through for Rennes. With time very quickly running out for them. Lea Siliki. That will run behind for a goal kick. Such frustration for Rennes today. Hard to see where the wins are going to come from for Rennes at this rate. Their only win in the 7 games before today, coming away at Monaco, and that was a club in crisis, of course, a result that signalled the end for Leonardo Jardim at the Stade Louis II just before the international break. Sarr's attempted cross, deflected behind again, and Reims just happy to do that and to defend their penalty box all day long. Comes the latest corner, headed away by Abdelhamid. Chavelarin helping it out, back to Grenier. And it's Romao who clears this time. And just one of the last 12 away games in the top division, Reims. Surely the 3 points today are going to be theirs. And Rennes will have to try to lift themselves for the next game away to Caen in Normandy. Ismail Assar, Amari Traoré, Lea Siliki. What can the young midfielder do? That's a good ball in, but it will run through again to Edouard Mendy. Been solid in goal for Reims today. And by the way, after that match for Rennes, the end of next week, they have to go to Ukraine to play Dynamo Kiev in the Europa League, and then it's the derby here against Nantes on the 11th of November. Always a big occasion in these parts. Another foul by Bourigeaud, according to the referee. Threw himself at that ball. And foul on Fouquet before he landed awkwardly. Well, the Rennes fans singing the name of the coach, Sabri Lamouchi, who is understandably popular here for the job he did last season at a club who've been underperforming for so long, but it looks like it's going to be another defeat today. A number of these Rennes fans heading for the exits. And they're going to have to get down to work on the training ground this week. Put the last few days behind them as soon as possible. Ben Arfa not on his game today. It's going to be a second defeat in 4 days here at Rouajon Park. Dynamo Kiev in the Europa League, and now Reims in Ligue 1. That's Ben Arfa withdrawn in the second half. Abdoulaye Diallo, the goalkeeper, taken off at half-time. Benjamin Bourigeaud landing awkwardly there. Rennes have made their 3 changes. Is he going to come back on? Good defending again from Björn Engels. Look much more positive for Reims, who play Monaco at home next weekend. They've got a Coupe de la Ligue tie before that against Orléans. The team are going very well in the second tier. We're into 5 minutes of added time. Still a glimmer of hope in that case for Rennes. Sabaini. Free kick is given that time, and it's going to be a card for Fouquet. Sabaini with the ball in. course, Engels is there to mop up. Rennais. Clement Rennais once again. Bourigeaud. Another clearance. Engels again and again and again, and when they do get through, Mendy is there. Another save from the goalkeeper. Another Andre header. Not the tallest, but he does get into these positions, Benjamin Andre. Rennes sliding down the table, and Reims are going to climb above them with the victory here into the top half in the process. It is very, very tight though beneath the leading sides. Reims provisionally 9th, just 4 points above the bottom 3. That's why there's still scope for a team like Monaco, for example, to bounce back and shoot up the standings again, if Thierry Henry can get them winning at some point. Foul on Grenier. Xavier Chavalarin is the player penalised, and Clement Grenier likes to strike them from this range. Scored some fabulous free kicks in his days at Lyon, where he was considered at one point to be the successor to Juninho Pernambucano. What a brilliant free kick taker he was in a Lyon shirt. Capped 5 times by France, Clement Grenier, the last of those coming just before the 2014 World Cup. That's when his career began to nosedive somewhat. Joined Rennes in the summer after a spell at Guingamp. Can he get one back? It's a good strike from Grenier, but Mendy sees it past the post. Thumbs up from him, and the thumbs up to surely another clean sheet. 5th clean sheet in 7 games, and the 7th in all this season in 11 matches. Not bad at all, is it, for Reims? Considering the new faces that David Guillon has had to incorporate this season, the players that he lost ahead of this campaign. They had a very strong defence in the second tier last season, a plus 50 goal difference. Not putting the ball in the net enough, but they've had a couple of breaks today. And they've taken advantage of a very lethargic-looking Rennes team. The side short on ideas. Reims have been very clear in their ideas. Get the goal, soak up the pressure, and it might always seem like a risk to sit back and soak up the pressure, but when you're defending as well as Reims are defending, it's not really that big a risk at all. Rennais down with 1 goal, and what he thought was another, but I think it's been credited as a Benjamin Andre own goal finally. A 2-0 win for Reims here today, ending an 8-match winless run. And the poor run of results continues for Rennes. 1 win in 7 in all competitions before today. And after losing at home to Dynamo Kiev in the Europa League on Thursday, another home defeat today. Reims leapfrog the team from Brittany in the table. The final score here at Rouajon Park, Rennes 0, Reims 2.
Et donc, prochain rendez-vous ici même dans 2 semaines pour la réception de Nantes, Jérémy. À partir du 11 novembre à 17h, venez présenter pour celui du match.
Well, Mbaye Niang arguing with the officials. Discussing that hopeful penalty appeal, perhaps. But it's all academic now. Rennes beaten, and Reims thoroughly deserving their victory. Not many of their supporters making a trip. It's a fairly long trip, about 400 kilometres from Champagne country all the way across to the other side of the capital Paris here, to the west of France in Brittany. But it will be a happy trip back for them. And back to the drawing board to some extent for Rennes. And these Rennes players in heated discussions with some of their supporters, which is not an uncommon sight in French football, to see the ultras and the players engaged in discussions. Well, that's going on at the other end. Reims players lapping it up with their fans. Great result for them. And these discussions are ongoing. We're going to get some reaction from Edouard Mendy, the very impressive Reims goalkeeper.
Aux côtés d'Edouard Mendy, Edouard, vous n'avez pas marqué de but ce soir, mais vous avez été vraiment très important pour votre équipe. Vous avez réalisé les arrêts qu'il fallait au moment.
Making the saves that needed to be made.
Après, je pense que on a très bien défendu. On a
très bien
joué les situations de contre qu'on avait. On aurait même pu
took advantage of the chances we had on the break. We maybe have scored more goals, but to win by 2 goals away from home is very impressive here in Rennes. Just building on what we've been doing in the last few games. And winning away from home, we need to make the most of that and build on it when it comes to playing at home. We know the league table is very tight from one week to the next. Things can change very quickly. We just need to keep on picking up points. And if we can win games, then we need to do that. He was excellent, Edouard Mendy, and Benjamin Andre, the Rennes captain. Some of his teammates now heading away from their brief discussions with the ultras there at the Cop end of Rouajon Park.
Aux côtés de Benjamin André. Benjamin, j'ai envie de dire que rien n'a été aujourd'hui pour le Stade Rennais.
Non, on n'était pas dedans d'entrée. Physiquement, on n'avait pas les jambes non plus, ça s'est vu, je pense.
Physically, they weren't at it either, I think. You could see.
Frappe, les contrées, elles filent dans la lucarne. Ça nous
one of their first shots was deflected and went into the top corner.
Ni la réussite devant, il n'y a rien qui nous aide.
So they got the breaks, nothing really helping us today.
On sait que personne ne nous aidera.
We know that nobody will help us.
Nous et voilà, il faut travailler et reprendre confiance parce que je pense que c'est ce qui nous manque.
Get a confidence back, that's what's missing.
De faire basculer les matchs, mais
we're never far away
ça bascule pas de notre côté, donc il va.
Getting the game to turn our way, but it's just not happening.
Vous parliez de l'aspect physique, l'enchaînement des matchs, il est compliqué à gérer, Benjamin.
Is it proving difficult
parce
to
on a fait
string together all these matches? No, it's not complicated.
On a encore couru, on a fait des kilomètres, mais c'est plus
kept on running. We did our kilometers out there, but it's more collectively.
Ensemble, voilà.
We need to work together.
Vous avez été vous entretenir avec les supporters. Qu'est-ce que vous leur avez dit?
On va discuter après tranquillement.
You discuss with the supporters. We'll discuss that later in peace. As Benjamin Andre not too keen to talk about that, but there are these statistics. Rémi Houdin and Benjamin Andre's own goal. The difference, Rennes with 61% possession, ended up with 14 attempts on goal, just 5 of them on target. Reims with 6 attempts, 3 on target, 2 of them ending up at the back of the net. And, well, there we have it. 5 bookings as well today in total. But Rennes beating a flat afternoon for them. Let's take a look at the goals. This was the opener, 16 minutes in. Moussa Doumbia, when Marvin Martin, he laid it back to Xavier Chavalerin, and he set up Remy Houdin for the shot, which deflected in to the top corner of the neck of Rami Ben Sebaini. Touch of luck about it. Touch of luck about this as well. Marvin Martin's corner early in the second half. Remy Houdin nodding it in at the near post. It did take a big deflection, that one off the head of Benjamin André, and it will go down as an own goal. Terrific result for Reims. First win in 9 for them after they began the campaign with back-to-back victories on their return to the top flight. 2-0 it finishes. Still to come in week 11, Bordeaux and Nice just getting underway. And then Marseille playing Paris Saint-Germain in the Classique at the Velodrome this evening. PSG without Edinson Cavani. Another away win, there have been a few of them this weekend. Lyon, Nantes and Montpellier yesterday. And this is how the table looks at the moment. PSG 30 points before they play tonight. Maximum points then. Lille 25 after they won yesterday. Montpellier 22, Lyon 20. Marseille 19 with a game in hand. Saint-Etienne on 17, Strasbourg 16. Reims joining Bordeaux on 14 points. Bordeaux, they were just about to play. Toulouse on 13, then Angers, Nantes and Rennes all on 12 points. Rennes slipping down to 13th place. Caen, Nîmes and Dijon, as well as Nice on 11, with Amiens third bottom on 10. Thierry Henry's Monaco and Guingamp both on 7 points at the foot of the table.